The fifth episode of Mini Reni takes viewers on a double journey as Joanna Gaines transforms a friend's mudroom and craft pantry while simultaneously completing a charming treehouse for her son Crew at the family farm. The episode begins with Joanna and designer Kristen Buffton discussing hardware options for the mudroom cabinets, establishing the collaborative nature of their working relationship that has spanned nearly 15 years. "It's like a two-woman show here," Joanna jokes as they balance hardware samples on shoes and knees to visualize the final look, a playful moment that showcases the creative problem-solving that happens behind the scenes of her renovations. Joanna explains the concept behind the Mini Reni series, noting that after completing large-scale renovations, she often craves smaller projects that can be completed quickly while still making a significant impact. "The hope is that we can inspire you to tackle your own Mini Reni," she tells viewers, setting up the episode as both entertainment and practical guidance for home improvement enthusiasts. This particular project involves helping friends who have started renovating their home but need direction for finishing their smaller spaces, specifically a mudroom and craft pantry that were created by dividing a former den that wasn't serving their needs. The homeowners have already completed the basic construction, dividing the space and framing the walls, but they've asked Joanna to design and finish these two rooms while they tackle the kitchen renovation themselves. "While I'd love to do the entire house for them, they were really passionate about tackling the kitchen by themselves," Joanna explains, highlighting how this project serves as both a standalone renovation and a template that will guide the homeowners in their kitchen remodel. This approach, creating a design language that can extend throughout the home, is a smart strategy for cohesive renovations that Joanna often employs. The design brief for the spaces centers around three keywords: functional, moody, and charming. Joanna immediately connects with this vision, particularly excited about the idea of a moody mudroom, which represents a departure from the typically bright and airy mudroom designs often seen in home renovations. As she and Kristen develop the plan, they envision dark painted cabinetry, a bench seat for putting on shoes, custom trim work to elevate the archway between rooms, and open shelving in the craft pantry for the homeowner, who is an artist, to display supplies and find creative inspiration. While the mudroom/craft pantry renovation progresses, Joanna shares an update on a special project at the Gaines family farm, a treehouse being built for her youngest son, Crew. "For Crew's birthday, we surprised him with this little fort," she explains while showing viewers the structure taking shape among the trees near their garden. The treehouse incorporates many of the same materials being used in their farmhouse addition, including hemlock beams and cedar shakes, creating a cohesive look across the property. This glimpse into Joanna's personal life reinforces her authentic approach to design, creating spaces that serve both practical and emotional needs for the people who use them. Back at the client's home, Joanna and Kristen meet to finalize design decisions, bringing material samples to see how everything looks in the actual space. This step proves crucial as they discover that some paint colors appear dramatically different in the home's natural light compared to how they looked in the office. "Sometimes you have to step out of the office, go into the space, see it in the environment it's going to live in. And a lot of the times, it'll just magically you'll know," Joanna explains, highlighting the importance of context in design decisions. They settle on a navy black paint color that reads as a deep charcoal blue in the space, perfect for achieving the moody ambience the client desires. For the flooring, they choose a classic checkerboard pattern using limestone tiles, positioning them on a diagonal to create what Joanna describes as a more cottagey feel. This timeless pattern brings a sense of charm while keeping the budget in check compared to more expensive options they had considered. The design also includes floral wallpaper in the mudroom to add pattern and visual interest against the dark walls, creating a perfect balance between moody and charming. "That looks like a really charming little space," Joanna observes as they lay out all their selections together. As construction progresses, Joanna reveals thoughtful touches that elevate the renovation despite budget constraints. To add architectural interest to the standard interior door, they apply simple trim molding to create a paneled look, then frame it with the same dimensional trim used around the archway. "Before it was just a solid flat door, no character, no charm. But now that it's in this space, we had to really up the game for this door, but also stay in budget," Joanna explains, demonstrating how small details can transform basic elements into custom features. The episode showcases several of Joanna's practical design strategies, like using a dark primer under dark paint to prevent white showing through if the cabinets chip over time. She also emphasizes the importance of hardware choices in small spaces. I think the biggest thing in this small space is every detail matters. It's like the accents, it's like the jewelry. This attention to detail extends to the lighting fixtures, countertops, and even the color of the grout between floor tiles, all carefully selected to contribute to the overall mood and functionality of the spaces. Meanwhile, Crew's treehouse takes shape at the farm, with wooden shingles, a slide, and custom windows being installed. It just looks so charming and cute, Joanna says, showing how the structure ties back to the farmhouse with matching materials. Her excitement about creating this special space for her son mirrors her enthusiasm for the client project, demonstrating how her professional and personal design approaches are guided by the same principles, creating functional, beautiful spaces that reflect the personalities and needs of the people who will use them. When the mudroom and craft pantry are complete, Joanna walks through the finished spaces, clearly delighted with the transformation. The mudroom features dark blue-black cabinets, bench seating with striped cushions, and delicate floral wallpaper that brings personality to the space. Custom hardware and antique brass adds warmth and character, while the checkerboard floor grounds the room with a classic pattern. The archway transition to the craft pantry creates a graceful flow between the spaces while maintaining distinct functions for each area. The craft pantry continues the dark blue color scheme with built-in lower cabinets, open shelving, and a soapstone countertop that provides ample workspace for the homeowner's artistic pursuits. Joanna adds a vintage-inspired cabinet with scalloped details to provide additional storage and charm. She's an artist, she loves to create, so she just has a ton of supplies, Joanna explains, noting how the design balances closed storage for organization with open shelving to display inspiring materials and tools. One of the most striking design decisions was painting the ceilings, trim, and cabinets the same dark blue color, creating a seamless, enveloping feeling that makes the small spaces feel cohesive and intentional. When you carry your floors and the color throughout, it does give that illusion of just a bigger, larger space, Joanna notes, sharing a valuable tip for viewers working with compact rooms. The continuous flooring and color palette between the two spaces enhances this effect, while distinctive elements like the wallpaper in the mudroom and open shelving in the craft pantry give each area its own character. As the episode concludes, we see the completed treehouse at the farm, now featuring cedar shake siding, windows on each side, and the wooden slide Crew was so excited about. It's going to tie back to the farmhouse with the shingle, and then all the other little structures. So it'll match everything else that's happening here at the farm, Joanna explains, reinforcing the importance of cohesive design even in play spaces. She hopes the treehouse will be a sweet spot for him and me if I get invited into the club, adding a touch of humor to this heartwarming project. The final reveal of the mudroom and craft pantry showcases how successfully Joanna has fulfilled the homeowner's wish for spaces that are functional, moody, and charming. When you step into this space, it feels like a warm welcome, like you're home. Like you can just take your shoes off, unwind. It's super charming in here, and it's also moody, she observes, walking through the completed renovation. The dark color palette, balanced with light-colored elements and patterns, creates spaces that feel simultaneously cozy and sophisticated, practical and inspiring. Joanna expresses confidence that the homeowners will be inspired and motivated to get started on that kitchen, after seeing how their mudroom and craft pantry turned out. By creating these spaces as a template, she's given them a design language, including color palette, hardware styles, and trim details, that they can carry through to their kitchen renovation and beyond. Hopefully, they'll take everything that we spent the time to think through on the details and all of the intention, that they can just take that and carry that through, she says, emphasizing how this mini renovation sets the stage for the larger project to come. This episode of Mini Reni perfectly illustrates how impactful small-scale renovations can be, both aesthetically and functionally. By focusing on key elements like color, pattern, and thoughtful storage solutions, Joanna transforms two utilitarian spaces into rooms with distinctive character and purpose. The parallel storyline of Crew's Treehouse reinforces the episode's theme that spaces of any size can be both beautiful and meaningful when designed with intention. As Joanna puts it, you can make a big impact when you're open to getting a little creative and thinking outside the box. A philosophy clearly demonstrated throughout this inspiring episode.